the impact supply and demand plays on real estate prices. Hi, this is Andrew with the Andrew Smith team of eXp Realty. And I bring that up because last week in my October real estate market update, I had spoken about the fact that there's talk of a recession in the next 18 to 24 months, yet home prices are expected to continue appreciating, albeit at a slower pace, over the next few years. So I had someone respond to me this week and said, there seems to be a lot of new development. There's a boatload of apartments being built where I live. There's talk of a recession, but, home prices are still going up. What's going on? What's driving it? And I thought it was a great question, so I wanted to answer it for everybody. And, when you look specifically at home prices, like any commodity or service, it's driven by supply and demand. When something is in demand and there's a constrained or restricted supply, price it goes up. And vice versa if there's an oversupply relative to demand. So regardless of economic situations, supply and demand or I should say purely economic, as in a slowdown in the economy for a recession. The supply and demand factor is having a huge impact in the real estate market, and here's why. So if you look at the number of new homes sold in the United States each year, between 1960 and 2008, the only time that number was lower than 1 million was 1982. In fact, in 2005, nearly 1.3 million new homes were sold. Now, we all know what happened in 2007, 2008. And the bottom line is the builders simply have not caught up. When projects are halted, it takes a long time to get those going again. Or when you have new projects being planned, from finding the land to doing all of the entitlements, to getting all of the permits, all of the infrastructure in place, to actually then being able to start to build, that takes a lot of time. Now, since 2005, the highest number of homes built in any 1 year since then was in 2018, when 617,000 homes were built. So 617,000 is the highest we've had since 2005, yet from 1968 all the way up to 2008, we needed in excess of 1 million. So I think you can kind of see the problem: supply and demand. Right now, Freddie Mac is estimating that we are undersupplied by approximately 370,000 housing units a year. Now, remember, that's cumulative. So every year that we don't meet demand, we're falling farther and farther and farther behind. So what's the impact? Well, as you've probably noticed, or if you haven't noticed, so you do know, rents have been going up astronomically. They're rising so incredibly fast year over year because the demand is there. If you're in an area where there's a lot of new construction, especially on apartments, this is why. There's a lot of apartments going up in order to meet the demand for housing. On the flip side, when you look at new construction for new homes, whereas the rents have been going up, mortgages have actually been coming down, even though prices have been going up. Because if we go back, it wasn't that long ago, 2008, mortgage rates were at about 6.4%. Right now, they're at 3.5%. So that drop in the mortgage interest rate, is more than offsetting the rise in prices that we have seen, especially when you factor in wage growth. Because actual home prices, wage growth, and mortgage rates are the three elements that make up affordability with regards to homes. So going back, and I'm not going to repeat it here today, but the housing market is very different now than it was in 2007, 2008. The housing market is not going to lead us into a recession. In most of the past recessions, the housing market has actually helped get us out of a recession, which is why they're saying any recession we have going forward is probably going to be fairly minor. It'll probably be even over before you even realize it began. But hopefully, just looking at those numbers, and if you're on my blog post or you'd like to see some charts that kind of reference this, please visit the blog at theandrewsmithteam.com/blog. And when you see this in graphical format, it really starts to make sense. So the bottom line is we need a lot more homes. More homes need to be built to keep up with the demand that there currently is for housing. So I hope that helps put it into some perspective. I didn't want to get too detailed on some of those economic items there. But for what's going on right now, until the cycle catches up with itself, it's going to remain this way for a while. We are going to see price appreciation, albeit at a slower pace, being caused by the fact that demand is still continuing to outpace supply. So I hope that helps, and I will look forward to catching up with you again next week.